everybody to week 1 of the Multi Archives official MultiVersus podcast with Bhands and Streamline. How you feeling,
Yes,
Streamline? You ready to
sir.
get this started?
I'm so ready, dude. I'm
Oh,
beyond ready.
let's do it then. So for those of you who don't know, a lot of you already know, but I am Bhands, the top Rick in Multiverses. I formerly competed in Smash Ultimate. I'm a platform fighter lover, so formerly competed in that game, and since this game dropped, I've been competing in it consistently. I've won a number of Zeddies. I've won a number of Multiverses Mayhem, all with solo Rick as of now. I'm also one of the best gizmos in the world, and I'm planning on playing a lot more characters, but that's my intro, and my beautiful co-host here is Streamline.
Yeah, so as you guys know me, I'm Streamline. Um, some people call me Matt. If you know me, you can call me by my name. That's perfectly fine. Uh, I had a past of Brawlhalla, I think like 8 years, 8 years competitive in Brawlhalla. I never quite made it pro. So when this game came out, I actually disliked it and I was bad at it. And then when the actual game came out, I don't know, it just started to click. So I started playing. I stuck to bugs the whole time, even though it was broken. Got some nerfs, and then here I am. I don't even think I was gonna compete at the Multiverse Mayhem. I didn't know it was at CT until like a couple months ago, I want to say. And then I went, got my first win with Paradox. Surprisingly, I was not ready for that. Ever since then, haven't won yet. We're getting just shy.
And for those of you who don't know, we are Two's partners. We have only competed in Kung Fu Cup, which we will be talking about. That was our first Two's tournament, a very, very stacked tournament. Shout out to Power A and Lucid Sound, Ed Macherino for sponsoring that as well. It was a very,
Ooh,
very well run event. I got to be honest, I was a little nervous with it not being on Start GG because Start GG is just a consistent, like, they always bring it and it always works and it runs really well. But Macherino ran really, really well, really smooth, like not really any problems that I noticed. So we will be talking about Kung Fu Cup. But I just want to kind of introduce the podcast as well, stuff that we're going to be talking about. My goal out of all this is to really give the community a voice for the devs to hear and just kind of I want to really understand what the community needs for the game and how we can help improve it because me and Streamline love the game like a lot of y'all do. So we're gonna try and give you guys a voice and even put our opinions out there on how to improve the game.
I'm honestly in complete agreement. Like, because a lot of the times, Twitter isn't really the best place to do that stuff. It was good at first, but then it got a little cloudy, to be honest. You couldn't really tell whether someone was joking or not, or if maybe someone is a little emotional, they lost or something, and then they immediately went on Twitter and complained. You never know really, but like what we're trying to do is just kind of set like a organized something that's organized so that we can get some serious stuff going here. You know what I mean? Because I feel like there's like a lack of communication in the community right now.
Definitely. I feel like that's the Twitter classic of like, oh, I just lost to this camping Harley. Let me go tweet Nerf Harley. That's literally like the classic
the
go-to. We've all
classic.
made anger tweets and like said
We've all been
some
there, man.
stuff. Twitter also just like brews up toxicity. It's like the
Oh,
platform built for that. So we want to have a more discourse discussion. We're planning on getting some great guests. I've already talked to some high people in this scene that I'm really really excited to get on for future episodes. So we're gonna start this. It'll just be me and Streamline as the original, but we will be getting a lot of very interesting guests from throughout the community. And I want to give a voice to a lot of different people, whether it's players, devs, TOs, like commentators, just whoever you can think of. I want to get all of those types of people on the podcast. So definitely let us know as well who we should get on and also talking points. I want to get a lot of talking points from you guys in chat and on Twitter to know what we should talk about and what you guys are really interested in, you know?
yeah, agreed. Don't forget that you guys have a voice in this just as
Yeah,
much as anybody else.
for
You guys
sure.
are the voice.
Um, so I think we could start out talking about Kung Fu Cup as it did happen just this past weekend. It was one of the biggest tournaments we've had in a while. Twos tournament as well, which the game is made for twos, but there are going to be twos and ones tournaments, you know. Me and Streamline did have a crazy run. There were 48 teams, and we ended up finishing in seventh. So we could talk about our run as well as other stuff that stood out to us on other teams. You know, obviously Mirrorman and Coslics won the classic.
Ooh, yeah.
Like, what do you have to say about Mirrorman and Coslics? I feel like they are just so impressive.
I think it's the result of like grinding. You got the right mindset. You got two competitive players. They got the time. They have they clearly have the love for the game. Every single tweet, almost every single tweet is something good about the game. Especially from Kosalix, actually, especially from Kosalix. He's always saying that MultiVersus is gonna make it. And when you're that positive about a game, you clearly love it. You're gonna like grinding it, you're gonna like playing it, you
Hmm.
know, and over time, it's just gonna it's only gonna snowpile. He's only gonna get better and better and better. And this is just the result. They've been grinding since the start. They're really good at the game. They're picking the right things. They're doing the right things. This is what you see. Winners. So you see.
Yeah, it feels like they win pretty much everything they compete in. Funny
Almost.
enough,
Yeah.
I can't really remember a tournament I've seen them enter where they didn't come out on top. And it's really both players. Mirrorman's another one, like you spoke to Cossack's, but Mirrorman's another one who is just always spreading positivity, always consistently playing the game, like clearly has a lot of love for the game. And I respect him a lot for everything that he's done for the community. And he's also one of the best, if not the best player out there right now playing the game.
Quite literally. Quite literally, man. Oh,
It is very interesting to watch them play too, because I've noticed Koslick obviously is the go-to stock tank with Velma. Just goes and puts out damage, makes sure to not take a lot of damage at the same time and help out Mirror Man. But at the same time, when Mirror Man decides like I have to live, I can't get hit, it's just impossible. Like watching him just avoid everything on screen is unreal. It seems like he just goes into this mode where you cannot touch him no matter what.
literally, man. He's just flowing. He's just flowing across the map.
It's
Like it's like he knows what you're gonna do before you do it.
Really, it's beautiful to watch. His dodge timings are absolutely unreal. Um, so like I alluded to earlier as well, me and Streamline did have a run of our own. You can see it right here. We started with Briss and Intruders, um uh Harley Quinn and Steven Universe combo. Definitely I think a good matchup for us, right? Streamline that ended up going
Yeah,
pretty well.
pretty good. Yeah, we ended up doing pretty well. We really like the biggest difference is that we learned how to fight Steven. Because in the past we were doing some spars. I believe it was with Rams and K,
Mhm.
and we were struggling pretty badly. And I don't know if it's just like, hey, this is the time. We just got to give it our all. We got to do our best. Something happened. We buckled down. We figured something out. Right? It was as simple as shooting the shield instead of jumping above them. That brought
Yeah.
us the W.
Yes, especially a team like Carly and Steven when they're like they have some of the best ladders in the game, right? We stayed a lot more grounded, I think, destroyed the shields, which is huge for fighting against Steven Universe. So breaking that, luckily with me playing Rick, it's pretty easy with light lasers to just get rid of the Steven shield. A lot of characters don't have that privilege. But that was definitely a big part of the matchup, I would say.
Yeah,
Uh,
because I mean, I don't even have to mention Harley as well. Like, they're both really good. They're good setup characters. They want you in the air. So ideally, you want to play grounded, right? Even
mhm.
if it's a bad matchup or whatever, you're better off on the floor than you are in the air against that comp.
Yeah, and I think we came in with that game plan ahead of time, and it definitely showed. I think
Big
that's
time.
huge in twos is to really come in with a game plan for our team and how to deal with their team. And it's a different game plan for every matchup, you know?
Quite literally, yeah. It really depends. Like, it changes a lot. I think that the next person we fought was Dante and Wiz.
It was,
We were,
yes.
I'll tell you right now, I actually was pretty nervous about this because I like didn't practice as much with bands as I wanted to, and it's mostly my fault to be honest. But like, it really had me nerve wracking. I was like, oh, we could lose this. I went in there expecting we were gonna lose, like in silence, expecting we were gonna lose, and then when I saw what happened during that game, oh my god, did my confidence skyrocket into the sky. I went I'm not kidding when I was like down here and when we won game 1 or no, we lost game 1 actually.
We
when we
did.
won
We
game
started out
two,
with an
when
L.
we won game two, it was so dominant that my confidence just went like to the sky. I did not care anymore. I was like, this is so free. We're winning. We're winning. It went all the
Yeah,
way up to the sky. Like we were separating them. We were putting them in the air. We were comboing them to oblivion. Everything was working.
it really
Everything was working
was.
that set.
I rocked all Rick throughout the tournament. That both those characters are actually really good matchups for Rick, I would say. Um, Obviously the Arya and Superman, both characters I'm insanely comfortable fighting, and I think it definitely showed during that set. Arya, you could kind of both those characters you could kind of wall out with projectiles. And Superman's just such a big body. Like I think we got a lot of team combos going, which is huge for the Rick Bugs combo. We can put out so much damage if we get our stuff set up, and that's a lot of what we did during that set. So we started off losing game one, but then was able to win three in a row, um, in a relatively dominant fashion. I would say. I think we ran all
Literally,
trophies that set as well, from what I remember.
literally. It just like it's like we improved mid set there. Like it was like it got better and better. We were learning new things. We were doing new things. Like it
Mm-hmm.
was so good. That was
100%.
an important set for us.
It really was. It was a bit of a make or break, and I think we improved literally as that set went on. That was maybe the peak of how we played. It was either that or our next set versus Rams and Martoons. That was a crazy, crazy set, man.
Oh my gosh. I'll tell you right now, right? Um, just going into it, I was especially nervous because I literally coached them at one point. I was literally coaching them at one point, right? Mostly Rams. Martoons was kind of it was almost like a co-coach, you know, he was helping me out. And like it was hard, right? Cuz they know how I want to play tools ideally, right? So a lot of the times they're going to know what I'm doing and they're going to, you know, they're going to come at me for it. And like boy did they come at me. Boy did they really caught us really badly. Like even though we were winning, it was not like there was not a single second. There was not a single second that like it wasn't intense. Not even a
Ye-
single second.
Yeah. That was a game five set. Finished 3-2. We were able to pull out, but holy if it wasn't the most back and forth set I've ever played in my life. I'm definitely gonna like rewatch that set, and I will be posting it on YouTube. I highly recommend checking that one out because that was just
Dude.
wild. The amount of clutch kills you were able to get with bugs, a lot of up rocket into up air confirms that we're
Ooh.
just like they came out of nowhere. Like up rocket up air is a insane confirm, right? But like getting an up rocket isn't the easiest thing in the world. Like
It
it sneaking that rocket in there without them noticing, I feel like it's not as easy as it looks. But you seem to be the king at getting that.
it's one, it's you enabling me with the portals, and two, it's again, just like they know what I want to do, I know what they want to do because I coach them. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
So when someone's coming in on me with a move that's slow in high active frames, I'm going to get them with a rocket every single time. So most of the time, what I was doing was I was just catching rams aggressing at me, right? Because the thing is, right, when I look at it objectively, 40% is kill percent for Bugs Bunny or lower, especially on Trophy's Edge. So when I see someone running at me and I have a rocket and they're at 40, instead of being like, oh, I can't kill, it's 40, that's too low. That's just not true. I can kill. I can kill at 40. So that's exactly what I did. That is exactly what I did. Every time that Rams made a mistake while he was above 30%, it was a rocket into an up air and he was going to have to eat that. He was going to
Mhm.
have to eat that, unfortunately.
Just absolutely massive in a close set like that. Being able to get an early kill is just insane. But I think it is also the setups, like you said, either coming through Portal, which is a great mix up, or coming through Bugs Bunny Tunnel. Like they're almost never ready for Bugs Bunny Tunnel, like straight into Rocket. It's really catches people off guard all the time.
Especially with the tunnel, like you basically skip the startup with the tunnel. It's actually very easy to hit the rocket when you do it through the tunnel,
Hmm.
especially when they're over it. Like you do not want to position over the tunnel when Bugs Bunny has his rocket. At least not while if you don't know, don't go there. Don't
Yeah.
go there. It's not worth it.
But it's really hard to be aware with all the stuff that goes on. And that's what I love about
Literally.
the Rick Bugs comp is there's so many different things that your opponent has to pay attention to. Like they're going to make a mistake and slip up somewhere. You just got to capitalize when they do. Um, I,
literally.
it's a very very fun comp to run as well. I think it's definitely one of the best comps in the game currently, at least my opinion. Um,
I fully agree, man. A lot of people, Rick isn't the best. I need to state this, right? This is one of the best comps in the game. It does not mean Rick is one of the best in twos. I highly recommend you try to do what we do. It is not as easy as you think. It is not as easy as you think. I promise you, it's not as easy.
is very very
Because
difficult.
to use, right, let me explain a little bit of the thought process, right? The reason that we work the way we do is because we think very similarly. It's not character related, chat. It's not character related. It doesn't matter what character we play, we sort of work to it in a similar way. We want our setups. That's the thing we want more than anything. We want our setups to go off, and we want the stage. We want the stage and we want our setups, right? You give space for that, you're going to have trouble. It doesn't matter if we're on Gizmo Batman, get Gizdal Mirror Man. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if we're on Bugs Rick. It doesn't matter if we're on Batman Finn. All of it is gonna end up the same way because it's not the character, it's the player. It's
Hmm.
not the character. You know, like so. I highly encourage, chat. I highly encourage because I don't like right. This comp is very good, but like to play Rick in 2v2s is actually decently hard, like pretty hard, because a lot of Rick's combos, right? Like I don't want to say like this, but it's kind of how it is. It like slows down the game because like when you're in a Rick combo, right, you get caught by the jab. It takes a while. That that's a window for the opponent to punish him. That's a window for the opponent to punish him, quite literally,
Hmm.
right?
Especially in
So
twos. In ones, it's like, oh, I get my setups and then I'm fine. In twos, when I'm getting a jab, I'm wondering if I even have time to kick them into portal and go for the combo because I'm worried that I might get hit from behind from their teammate. I've been noticing a lot in twos just how different Rick has to play than in ones. I have played a lot more ones with Rick, and twos I'm starting to realize is insanely difficult. And Rick is hard in ones, but he's even more difficult in twos is what I'm starting to understand. Being able to not only have a limited amount of time, whether I'm doing a jab combo, I have to worry about where the opponent, the teammate is, because I don't have as much time, and the portal combo does take a lot of time. I have to figure out where I can use my double portals for projectiles and where to cover and when to set those up. I have to figure out when I can use the Meeseeks because it's very hard to use Meeseeks in twos and get usage out of them. Because if I set one up and leave it, it's probably going to get destroyed by something. So I'm noticing that I think Rick might be the hardest character in the game when it comes to twos. Just because of the amount of preparation, the amount of things I have to be thinking about and get use out of is it's just really really difficult when it comes to twos. But it's one of the reasons why I love twos is because the level of difficulty is crazy depending on the character you play.
I'm actually gonna mention something real quick, chat. Right. I want to mention again, this opinion he's having is at the top level. I want to add at the top level to that because right, anyone can play any character really easily if you're just playing simple. Anyone can do that, right? But to try to do that at a top level is not going to work. It's
Hmm.
not going to work, especially when you have Mirror Man, Alpha Stone, Clueless, Martoons, Rams, K7. I'm just thinking of, like mostly of the people we lost to as well, but like some of the people that were in that tournament. Who else? Show Off, Obsta, Ox. Those people are not going to let you get that crap unless you hit them both. Unless you get them both in there. It's not easy. It's not easy at all. This game overall is a pretty easy game, but when you right, the only reason this game's even remotely easy is because they actually made it properly. That's the funny thing. The reason this game is easy is because they made the controls right, right? So you don't have to do any stupid crap, any stupidly difficult crap just to get the simplest movement in the world. It's they're just skipping the stupid crap and they're getting you right to the rock paper scissors, right to the action. They're getting you right into the action. The hard part is winning. That's always the hard part. Try to win, right? Like that's the hard part. It's really hard, right? Downloading like this game, since it has no whiff, right? Since it's not properly made, right? Since it's not properly made, because it's not, believe me, the servers are bad, right? Or the hitboxes are annoying, or there's no whiff, right? Because of that, this game is insanely hard, right? Because when someone whiffs, right, they could do at least 50 things. At least 50 things. All right, let's say Rick misses a side air. A, he could do nothing. B, he could dodge. C, he could wake up. D, he could just run away. E, he could do what? Like he could do a charge move, he could do a laser, he could back up and reset, right? Like every character has this crap too. Every single one, right?
Mhm.
This game is hard. That's all I'm gonna say. To me, this game is hard. I
Yeah,
think
and
this.
I'm with you on that, but I think we're gonna talk a lot about skill expression as well, which is something I think about a lot, and is necessary for a game. And in some senses, the game definitely lacks it, and I would love to see more of it. But in some sense, there is a lot of it depending on the character you play. And I tend to lean towards characters. I think you do as well, where they have a lot of skill expression and you have a lot of options that you can do. They're not just one dimensional. I think some characters do struggle with that, and I would love to see them get changed to add more skill expression to them to essentially just make it so you are deserved for playing creatively and with confidence and with mix-ups as opposed to just like rinse and repeating the same options. So you're gonna hear a lot about that. And I think that's something I want to talk about as well later. But let's continue talking about bracket because this was really stacked. After the Rams and Martoon set, which was just insane, we ran into Alpha Stone and Clueless, the Steven Universe and Iron Giant team that hold on, just we gotta talk about that bracket a little bit because Gusta and Josiah lost 2-3 to Alpha Stone and Clueless right after beating House Arrest and Monk, which was wild. I don't know how they were
Yeah.
able to upset Gusta and Josiah when they were playing that well. But Alpha Stone and Clueless really really good. Oh, oh.
Oh, oh,
Alpha
uh
Stone and
oh.
Clueless were absolutely just going off. They played phenomenally well. We might have to reset the cam. Do you know what happened, or did it just
I mean, I'm taking a look here. I'm a little confused. I don't know why it's doing that.
apologize for the technical difficulties, chat? Now you can actually see the rest of the bracket and what
Yeah,
I'm
you know
looking
what's
at.
funny though? You like disappeared from my screen when you said that. That's I think it disconnected. Hold on, let me try again. You see that?
Just-
Or no?
I'll have to send it again.
What the?
Yeah, join that, and hopefully we should be able to get it back set up to get that back. This is the
Yep.
first rendition of the podcast, so we're gonna be going through a little bit of troubles, but we're hoping to get it all figured out and get more consistent with this. This will be a weekly thing. Um, hopefully, every Wednesday should be the plan, but we will be doing this every week. We're only gonna improve with every podcast. Believe that for sure. It should get better and better as we continue going on. So, apologize for just Streamlabs, I guess, not cooperating. Were you able to join with the link?
Yeah, I'm trying to like cameras, blah blah blah. Sorry, it's like fighting me here.
So Alpha
Trying
Stone and Clueless was actually a crazy set as well. Um, we were up 2-0 pretty dominantly as well, I would say. We won those sets because both of our characters do really, really well against Iron Giant. Um, and we were just kind of jumping the Iron Giant and not letting him play the game. But I think the difference was Alpha Stone just started playing out of his mind with the Steven universe.
literally he started doing the crack shit, like absolutely insane crap. And I
Uh,
actually talked to him afterhand, and he told me he switched the game plan game 3 from right just doing the Steven kind of frontlining to having Iron Giant get hit, like protecting Iron Giant while he gets his bolts. Like
mm,
because I guess that you could say like like I underestimated how much having a lot of bolts can do, like pretty hard, because right, if Arjun doesn't have as many bolts, I can kind of interrupt them pretty easily. But when he had that as many as he did, not even a full jab was getting rid of those bolts. A full Bugs Bunny jab, that's 5 hits.
yeah, and they were getting a lot of use out of the Iron Giant power up as well. Like we were getting hit by a lot of his stuff and
like the green orb and
hmm
the rockets, and then they caught us with a pretty sick combo. They hit him with the green orb, and then light or oh my god, yeah. Alpha did a up tilt on Steven or the light was tech. He charged it all the way, and then while it was hitting, Iron Giant did a side air to give it extra force,
hmm
which was a pretty cool way to like deal with it.
I think Alpha got some early kills on us as well, which was huge with Steven, whether it was some kills off the top or off the bottom. Steven's really, really good at doing both of those. So
I
he
agree.
definitely was able to change up the game plan and upset us. That was a very crazy set as well, sending us down to losers. Some more of the winter bracket stuff though. Mirror Man and Coslicks obviously rolling all the way through, beating Tiffany Experience, which is not easy at all. Tiffany Experience also beat Jungle and Moi, another really really good team. Shout out to them. Um, see Broskis and Oopsteer making getting a big win over Show Off, K7 Show Off and Legendary Pred, which is huge. Um,
Literally.
just such a stack bracket, man. So many recognizable names like Thriller and Fat Pack beating J Mafia and Alex, which is huge. Fat Pack beating Aux and Obsta, another phenomenal team. And also Aux and Obsta beat Apache and Shirogan, which is nuts. Um, and then on the bottom, you also have Bugsy and Key Wonder rolling, who God, they were phenomenal. I want to point out something in particular with Bugsy and Key Wonder. Um, going down. First of all, beating Swerve and Wavy 3-0 is insane, and Thriller and Fat Pack 3-0, insane. Only losing to Light Wisp and Sandstorm, another incredible team. But just look at all the names, even the losers bracket, like Apache and Shiro beating J Mafia and Alex, which is absolutely crazy. Um, Gusto and Josiah then beating Apache and Shiragon later in the bracket. Gusto and Josiah just a really, really good team. Um, losers bracket was just full of killers. Falsey and Sinum even falling to Swerve and Wavy, which is just crazy. Oxen and Obsta against Swerve and Wavy was an incredible set. We were able to end Ox and Obsta's run afterwards, but they were a very, very good team. See a lot going through losers bracket, even into top eight, some crazy sets. We did fall. We beat Ox and Obsta in our first loser set, right? And then we fell to K7 Show Off and Legendary Pred, who are just phenomenal. Um, what do you think about that set, Streamline?
They did so well. They honestly just did so well. That's all I could possibly say. They won every game and they closed it out when they needed to. That's the most I could say. Because I haven't watched that one specifically back yet, but I've watched a lot of them back. But like that specific set, like from what I remember, they just did a really good job of getting in on what's really hard to get into. Right?
Yeah,
It's
you could
not
tell they have
easy
a
to
lot
get
of
in.
chemistry as well.
Yeah, honestly, like they're really good at like working together to get the objective done. Like
I
they're
want to talk
really
about
clever.
something as well, and like this set in particular, Bugs v Q Under versus K7 Show Off and Legendary Pred. I remember, I think it might have been Game 5, end of the game, like Bugs v and Q Under were one stock away from winning, and they had a pretty big lead because Show Off and Pred were at high percents. But the way Bugs v and Q Under are able to keep their composure, not overextend, and just play play their game and play the stage. At one point during the end of the game, last hit situation, they just held center stage and had Show Off and Pred on like the corner of the stage for what felt like a solid 30 seconds of just holding neutral, saying like we're not going to push too far to try and get the kill. We know you guys have to come to us. We have stage control and we have a lead, so we're just going to sit here and play advantage. And they just played it for a solid 30 seconds and just held stage. The amount of composure it takes to not overextend and do that is just unreal. I think Bugsy and Key Wonder have probably the most composure out of anybody in teams. The way they are able to pick their moments and then reset back to neutral and not overextend their advantage is just unreal.
They're really good at that. They know exactly when they need to back the hell off.
Hmm.
They know when they need to back off. You know,
I
like
I think that's
it's like
something we don't have, so we could really appreciate it because we are both.
honestly, we both like are the epitome of the opposite. We
Yeah.
are overextenders. We are full overex. When that arm is completely stretched out like Jake Sider, man, I'm not let it go.
Yeah, we both have the tendency to when things get tense, push forward and just hold forward and push the aggression, as opposed to what you should do and what Bugsy and Keywonder do is back off and pick their moments instead of going too crazy. So I think that's pretty big, and I was really impressed from Bugsy and Keywonder seeing that. Um, some more stuff in the bracket. Jungle and Moi making a crazy losers run, beating Mo and Flip. Broski's and Oopsteer. Alfstone and Clueless, like Gusto and Josiah as well had an incredible run. Um, then Bugsy and Keywonder were able to knock off Jungle and Moi. I felt like Bugsy and Keywonder was just rolling through literally everyone and only got double eliminated by Light Wisp and Sandstorm. Obviously one of the most incredible teams. They also had an insane run. I love watching Light Wisp and Sandstorm, I gotta say.
Oh my god, dude, they're unreal. Their teamwork is unreal, man.
Yeah.
Like when when they really get it going, it's like they can just kill them whenever they want. They're so good at it. They're so unbelievably good at it. Chemistry
Hmm.
there is like unheard of almost.
It really is, and they also got like the Steven Universe combo, the Steven Universe Wonder Woman combo, which some of the
Woo!
best ladders in the game. Like, oh my
Yeah,
God,
literally.
dealing with
They have
that,
really similar moves. They have super similar moves in a way.
they
Sandstorm
definitely
and Fire.
do. Especially with the ladders, like the
Oh my
ladder
god.
potential with that comp is just unreal. Um, I would say two of the best twos characters in the game, right? When you say it,
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
so putting them
I would agree.
together, is just
I
deadly,
agree
and
with you.
two of the most fundamentally sound players as well, I think.
Absolutely, dude. I mean, I fought the guy. I mean, I fought Lightwoods. I didn't even fight Sandstorm yet. Ooh,
Yeah,
man,
but Light Wisp
he's
is
unreal.
insanely impressive.
They're
Um,
unreal.
so Light Wisp and Sandstorm double eliminated Bugsy and Q Under, and then Coslicks and Mirror Man double eliminated Light Wisp and Sandstorm. Light Wisp and Sandstorm made it to winners finals, climbed their way back into grand finals, and barely lost a crazy game five set. So that was a really good one, just showing that Mirror Man and Coslicks just reigning supreme at the top, pretty much unstoppable it seems. We'll see.
Literally, man. Ooh,
We will see who's able to dethrone them because it's been a long time since they've lost a tournament together. Hopefully we get some more tournaments like this. Again, another shout out to Power A and Lucid Sound and Maturino just for hosting this wonderful tournament, putting up a good prize pool and getting all the top players here. I really hope we could see more tournaments like this. Two's tournaments and one's tournaments. I'm always gonna vouch for one's tournaments as well because I do really like ones in this game, even though a lot of people don't. But I'm a fan of
I
one.
do
So
believe. I believe that ones is more finished than 2v2s at the moment.
yeah, I think ones is just kind of easier to make work, you know.
Honestly,
Twos is very complex, and I think they're realizing now just how much you have to do to get twos to be balanced. Um, and right now we are in a projectile meta, which kind of stinks, but I mean, hey, me and Streamline are taking advantage of that.
that's what I'm saying.
Um, but I personally will say I really want to see them add more scrapping and aggressive characters. Um, do you agree with that,
I was gonna
Streamline?
say it is pretty lacking indeed. Like, when you think about like a lot of the characters in the game, it's a lot of projectiles in general. Like what? LeBron James, Bugs Bunny, Steven, Tom and Jerry, Rick, Morty, Batman, even Batman. Batman's a brawling character, yet somehow the projectile is the center, right? Like a lot of the characters in the game rely on projectiles.
Yeah, I think a little too heavily at that. And it might sound funny coming from a Rick main, but I would love way less projectiles and way more combo heavy characters. Um,
Honest.
I
I
think
agree.
especially in like a game that involves a lot of twos, when there's just projectiles flying everywhere and you don't know what's going on, it's really hard
I,
to deal with, and I would love to see a lot more team combos, instead of just projectile zones.
honestly, man, they could do a lot of stuff, man. Like, for example, let me give you some food for thought, real quick. Food for thought. When you think about 2v2s, what's more hype? When they're 2v2ing or 2v1ing?
Say 2v1ing.
Last stock, you took out the last guy. Obviously, this isn't in multiverses, right? But you took out the last guy, right? Grand finals. It's a 1v2. You have one full stock, right? You're the guy on your own. You got one full stock, full health. They got they each got a piece with like orange health, almost about to die. What do you think's more cool? When you hit that 2v1 combo on the guy that's full health and you take him out, or ending it off with in a 2v2?
That's a fair point, but I will say I will fight for it. The game, I think the game works better when it's constantly 2v2. I don't think 2v1s should be a thing in this game since it is based around twos. I think it makes it, especially with how insane the combo game can be, you need to have because sometimes you just get hit once and then you're in a team combo and you
Obliterated.
should be able to have your teammate there to help get you out of that situation. I think
Okay,
you need
okay.
that because if you're 1v2ing in this game, you don't really stand much of a chance, I think you need that teammate to be able to help you. And it takes a lot of skill too for the teammate to be able to get the right hit to get you out of that combo. A lot of the times the
You
teammate
get black
go
hole. You
goes
get
to
pulled in.
help and then gets pulled in, and then you're in the team combo as well. So it's all
Honestly,
about
yeah.
picking the right move. But I will say I definitely want to see a lot more scrapping characters, a lot less projectiles, a lot more combo heavy characters. I think that would benefit the game a lot, because it's very very satisfying getting a team combo.
Oh,
um when it comes to team
so
attack,
satisfying, man. It's so satisfying.
I think team attack is fine the way it is right now. I kind of understand the point of why some people want to add team attack, but the way things are, I think it would be almost even more hectic if you could hit your teammate. I don't know, Streamline, what do you think about team attack?
Coming from a game like Brawlhalla, right? Having team attack on changes the entire way that it works, right? Now this here is a personal one, right? If you turn on team attacks, this game is gonna get harder, which is what people are asking for, skill expression, right? It is a lot harder to win a game when you have to worry about where your teammate is at all times because you could hit him, right? I think it's a way of bringing down the amount of chaos, right? If you add team damage, you're going to take down a lot of the chaos going on the map, a lot of it. And think about it like this, because right, projectiles in the meta right now, right, Bands?
Hmm.
But if you could run into my rocket, you have to be a lot more wary. You have to be a lot more wary about where the projectiles are. You know what I mean?
Very, very true.
Right? So we could see an age where projectiles are less dominant and boxing characters are more dominant,
Yeah, I think that
right?
would be a really good way to change the meta. I could definitely
It
see
would
that.
change it. It would change it and it would change it fast. It would change it fast, right? Again, I don't know how this would affect the way this game works, but you would see a lot more skill expression if they did that.
Definitely an interesting thought. But that is one of the core mechanics of this game, so I'm not gonna count on that getting changed.
Quite literally.
And
Yeah, I'm not going to count on it either.
I do think they are gonna keep it the way it is, as of now. But we covered a lot of topics. One more thing I definitely want to talk about, and that you'll hear us talk about a lot, is skill expression. And I think that's so important because a lot of people do complain about how simple this game is and how it doesn't have enough skill expression. It's very simple. And I think something that we need to do to add skill expression, first of all, I've noticed that a lot of the top tier characters, right? Like, look at the characters that can dominate the meta in a sense and are really, really good, say Wonder Woman, Velma, Finn, Rick. Those are all characters where they can make use of their full kit. And sadly, there's a decent amount of characters in this game that have moves that are so bad that they can't even like use their full kit. Say Stripe, I think is a prime example, right? He is a Sair and gun and saw machine. Um, while not touching skateboard, not touching down tilt, um, and some other moves as well, even dynamite. So I would love to see. I think a good way to help skill expression, first of all, is by making every move in a character's kit very
Useful.
useful for sure. And also just even adding more combo routes to characters.
Totally agree. I agree with that one wholeheartedly, man.
I think
I
that's
think
huge for the game.
I think a lot of the characters' moves as well, like some of them after the hurt box change specifically, right? Before it used to be just a circle or like something like that, something close to a circle. And now it's like literally the character. Ever since that change, a lot of combos lost consistency. A lot of them don't function the same way. So
Hmm.
at least, for example, right? If you don't want to go back and fix the moves on the characters now, at least with the new ones, right? Go back, make sure everything hits properly. Make sure it hits properly. Make sure it doesn't drop to the best of your ability. I know some things are always going to slip through, because you never really know. You never really know until you release the character, right? But
Yeah.
like characters like Gizmo, for example, the character's jab just doesn't work. It doesn't function, right? Or, for example, what? Let me think outside the box here. I mean, shoot, Steven. Some of Steven's combos don't function properly, right? Superman. I don't even know, man. I feel like he is bugged. I feel like he's bugged and I don't even know about it. Like a lot of the times, right? Like a lot of the consistent combos in the game were removed because of the hurtbox change, but they never went back and fixed it.
Hmm. Yeah, I think it's really important as well, like in a competitive game like this that we want to succeed. Um, with tournaments, consistency is everything. I'm sure it's insanely difficult to make happen in a platform fighter where like just the
Oh man,
tiniest spacing can make a difference, but you need the game to be as consistent as possible and to work properly pretty much always. And I really hope that is something they're working towards. I believe it is something they're working towards. It's just taking time, but from hitboxes to hurtboxes, you gotta make sure everything's consistent and interactions make sense.
literally.
I think that it is a must for a competitive game like this to succeed in tournament, which I think that should be one of the priorities that they should be working on right now. Speaking of, I would like to say I really hope we can get a little more transparency from the devs. I understand they can't tell us everything that is going on, but I would love to see a bit of a roadmap and just give us an idea of what is to come. Even at, like we don't need dates, we don't need like
I was
exactly
gonna
when
say, yeah,
things
we
will
do not need
happen.
dates.
Because I know that's a lot of the issue. They can't like because then things get delayed and stuff happens. But I would love to at least hear what the goals are and what we should be seeing in a certain time period, you know? You understand what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying, yeah. Like things like, okay, we're working on the servers, right? Don't need to give us a date. Just be like in the next 6 months or somewhere around
Yeah.
somewhere this year.
Big range.
Big range. Don't like undershoot it, man. Overshoot it by a big shot. Overshoot it by a mile. It's so much better that way. One, right? If you say it's gonna be in 6 months and it comes in two, do you have any idea how good that makes us feel?
Hmm.
Do you know how good that makes us feel when it comes early? When the present comes early? When you get the Christmas present early? Come on.
Even stuff like the server's definitely a good example. Um, I would also love to know, like, are they working on balance changes? Are they working on bug fixes? Are they working on hurt boxes? Are they working on hit boxes? Are like, what is, are they working on ranked? You know, what is being worked on and what should be coming, whether it's an order of when things are coming or even just like a vague date, I think would be really huge for the community. I think that would help a lot to just know what's coming and to get an idea because transparency with the community would really help a lot, and a lot of people are unsure of this game and unsure of the direction the game is going. So the silence does, I think, hurt the community in a sense. Though I understand
Why?
why and where it's coming from, I still think giving us even just a base level roadmap would be really, really big.
I think it's gonna be massive, man. Because a lot of the players, like, they just have a lot of uncertainty. A lot of uncertainty, right? You want to depend on the game, but you don't know. You can't make that decision. You don't know if you want to stay. You don't know if you want to go, and it's not helping when they don't know. They're not in the know. When they don't know anything that's going on, it
Hmm.
makes it really hard. It makes it really hard to super hard.
Um,
You have to. You have
yeah.
to believe.
So something I'll speak on as well as the balance in this game right now. I do think the game is actually really well balanced. I think it's easily in the best state it's been in. I think a lot of people that complain about certain characters and certain moves are just people that don't understand the matchup and don't care to learn the matchup. They would just rather go and complain on Twitter. And I hate to see that, but that happens in a lot of fighting games, not just this game for sure, is people are getting beat by a certain character and then instead of thinking, "Why am I losing to said character?" They think, "Oh, this character's overtuned, nerf him." Instead of, "Oh, maybe I shouldn't be running face first into Finn's sword. Maybe I should play more defensive and wait for him to throw out his sword and then dodge." Or maybe I should realize, "Oh, this is a true combo when I DI this way, let me DI the other way." I think there's a lot more room for growth still in not only combo game but counterplay. I think we really need to learn. I feel like half the community doesn't even know how to DI. I'm not gonna lie. I,
I
like
agree.
I
I didn't know how to DI until like 2 or 3 months ago.
like a lot of people just see like, oh, this must be a true combo when they're like either letting go of their controller or holding in. Like you gotta mix up your DI on certain characters, especially like it's a big thing for me with Arya. I swear, people are just like letting go of their controllers every time they get hit. Like you can mix up your DI, and it will force the Arya player to mix up their combo and react to what you're doing. They can still react properly and keep comboing you, but if you mix it up properly and throw a dodge in there, there's a good chance you're getting out. I think
Honest to
that's
God, I think
very,
that's one of
very
the big
key.
things.
Even
Something
like,
else.
all right, go ahead.
Something else I think that's really important is understanding how to maneuver through the neutral of this game. Because anyone that tells you there isn't neutral is lying. I promise you, they're lying, right?
Hmm.
It's just different. It's just different from other games. That's why we like multiverses because it's different, not the same. It's not the same as other platform fighters in any way,
1,000%.
right? You know,
100% agree.
like a lot of the times, right? It's big. Like this game is big on baiting. Very big on baiting. Whether it's using a move that the enemy thinks is punishable but isn't, whether it's using options that get the opponent to approach you, like Shaggy Charge, Bugs Rocket, Bugs Safe, or looking through the box on Bugs Bunny. Um, Rick charging the laser. That's one that can get you to approach for sure, right? Like there's a bunch of different options that can just get you to come in, right? That's one of the big things about this game, right? Not a lot of games give you an incentive like that.
Hmm.
Definitely not.
I agree, and especially because of how dodges work, you really need to mix up your options, and I think having like giving characters more mix-ups is huge because if you have telegraphed options, it's either a true combo and you can't do anything about it, or it's just gonna dodge. You're just gonna get dodged every time. But if you have more mix up opportunity, it's going to be way more of a mental game because everyone can just dodge on reaction. But if you mix them up, they're still and mix up the timing and the option, that's how you get the hit. So I think characters really need options. And I think a lot of combo strings and stuff like that should be more based on dodge reads or DI reads as opposed to just it's true or it's not true, you know?
Literally, I think like over time they've been getting better at like fixing some of the stuff. They some of the stuff like right the infinite combo system stuff like that. They need some tuning because some of it like doesn't work sometimes. But right, like right now, there's like basically right? They put themselves in a pit, kind of, right? They made a bunch of mistakes, and the list got too long, and now they're trying their best to like knock down problems while still making the game playable and making it interesting. Like they have to release stuff, so that's why we're in this situation right now. Like we got to understand that, right? Okay, they made a mistake. Now, are we going to keep bashing them or are we going to help them?
Mm-hmm.
Right? You got to make a decision. Are you going to keep bashing them or are you going to help them? Because the way it is right now, they don't want to help and they just keep bashing on them. Right? I'm not saying
Yeah,
it's everybody, but a lot of times on Twitter, again, Twitter, they're not blind. They can see it. They're looking. Trust me, they are looking. They can see what you're saying, and it's not. A lot of the times, it's not helping. A lot of the
agreed.
times,
I I
you
think
know.
a big goal of this podcast was to provide a platform where we could have constructive criticism as opposed to just like the way Twitter is, where it's just hate and negativity. I think criticism can be great if said properly and used well. It's just the way you deliver. You can't just like the amount of hate and negativity is honestly just horrible. And I really hope Twitter, like the Twitter community, can turn it around because we need more like productive and positive ways to make change in the game as opposed to just pure hate and pure negativity. I think I want to provide a lot of constructive criticism and I want to gauge what the community thinks should be changed and what direction we should be going in. So hopefully we can provide a voice to the devs that's legitimate and not just overreactions and not thought out opinions, which is a lot of Twitter because a lot of people just go and tweet out of anger or tweet without really thinking things through. So I would love to have like really talk stuff out and understand what is best and think about what is the right direction we should go in.
I totally agree, man. Like, because a lot of the times I think, some tweets can get really negative. I know, like, we all know the game's in a rough state. At the end of the day, it's never one side that's ever suffering. It's both. At the end of the day, like, right? Okay, so you're fighting someone that's laggy, right? But do you think they don't lag either? Right? Obviously, the servers are bad, but that doesn't mean that like people can just like take away a win from someone because they're laggy, right?
Hmm.
It is what it is. The game's not well built, you know, but that's what we got to deal with, right? We chose this game, so now instead of being, right, we chose. Well, let me actually start. Let me go back. We chose to get this game released early, so now we have to deal with the consequences.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
I
the
really
game's.
don't like the way people are being when they asked for this. You feel me? They
Hmm.
asked for it.
I
So
mean,
why are you not being with it?
it's either this or the game literally can't be played and like we can't have fun with it, which I'm really glad they did choose to release it even with all the problems. I can't believe people would even suggest that, oh, they shouldn't have released it. Like, why? Why would they not release it so we can play and have fun with it? Like that actually blows my mind that people would even suggest that. Like the game is still in its infancy, and that's why we have to prove to them they made the right decision by releasing it now and doing what we can to help them improve and get to what almost all of us know the game is capable of. We all know this game is capable of massive things and being an incredible game. It's just going to take time to get there. So let's help the devs get there as quickly as possible. That's my view.
I totally agree, man. I'm totally with you there because right now what we need is positivity, not negativity at all.
Mhm.
You don't need any negativity at all. It's getting out of hand. It's
Mhm.
getting way too out of hand.
So that's what we're going to promote here. I think quickly just kind of go over all the things I hope to get out of this podcast. Me and Streamline want to do with this podcast before we get out of here. But I've said it time and time again. We want to give a voice for the community to the devs. So anytime you want certain talking points for us to go over on the podcast, it's pretty impossible for me to keep an eye on chat while talking about all this. So I will make some Twitter posts probably a day before the podcast will happen, and I'll ask you guys what we should talk about. Certain times there's obviously going to be talking points, whether it's tournaments. Tournaments is a lot of what we're going to cover, but I would love to hear from you guys about what we should go over in every podcast. So I think I'll make a post asking for ideas and topics we should focus on. Um, the day before every podcast and go through and read all of it and see what you guys want us to go over on top of the topics we may already have to cover. Also, we will be getting some guests um very soon. I'm not sure what the first guest will be, but I've already talked to a number of prominent people in the community, and I'm really, really excited to get some good guests on here, and to show that to have that happen for you guys. So, um, do you have any closing statements for the pod streamline?
I think my biggest goal with this, right? You know, it's obviously to band to get the community together because I think that's what you know, like a lot of the community is split up, into two pieces. It's either we hate the game, so we're not going to play until it's good, or we just hate the game, we're done with it. And I don't like that at all. Like I want, like we need to at least all unite and do something, right? And I hope to dear God it's something positive, you know. I'm aware of the reality of things, Sometimes life is not fun, Definitely not your best friend sometimes, but sometimes it can be one of the best feelings in the world to be alive in this world. So I think what we need is to come together, right? And what we need is to encourage them. I don't think that we need to put them down. The only thing that is like it's people, bro. People are making this game. People just like us that were born here and work our asses off. You feel me? They do too. They do
They
too. And
definitely
trust me
do.
when I tell you they are not encouraged to work when you're saying crap like that. They are
And
not they are not encouraged at all.
you guys got to realize they love this game more than we do. They put their heart and soul into this game, and they've been working on it for years and years. So, like, God, please understand that, like, they want this game to succeed more than anything in the world. So the hate and negativity will only hurt. Um, so yeah, I think a roadmap would definitely be helpful from the devs. But no, either way, we appreciate all the work that they're doing towards the game, and I still love this game. It's literally my favorite game that I've ever played, even with all the problems, which is saying a lot. And I think a lot of people can agree. The fact that we all do love the game with all the problems just shows how incredible it is. So I can't wait to see what the product becomes and what the game becomes like a year or two from now.
Honestly, man, like I can't wait. I honestly can't wait. Like it's only going to get better from here. It doesn't get worse than this. It only gets better. Like this is like they're fixing the fundamental problems of the game. All right, eventually it'll get better. It's never gonna like this isn't a situation where they vocally told us they gave up. They didn't tell us they gave up. It's not all in our hands. You feel me? It's not all in our hands. It's it's something that we need to all work together on. I can't even stop saying I can't stop saying it. Right? It's not just the dev's job, it's our job to help them too. But you gotta choose the right words. You can't like leave hate out of it, right? Leave hate out of it. Right? If you're gonna complain, do it properly. They don't need the hate. It's not gonna help.
Hmm.
Do you think they need to lose more workers than they already don't have? Like the job's already harder than usual. They don't have that many people on the team. It's usually outside help they're getting. Like what they need is encouragement, right? They need a pause. Like right. Let's say you're someone who wants to be an editor for Player First Games, and you're working on MultiVersus. When you see the community, do you think they want to? Do you think they really want to get that job when they see
Honestly,
what they're saying? Do you
yeah.
think that looks good to them?
That's a great point. Like seeing the player base trash the game the way it does definitely is not a good look for potential devs to even go and work and help on them. Like there's a reason that I feel like Tony's gotten a lot more quiet on Twitter because it's just way too much negativity out there. Like I couldn't even blame him if all I'm seeing is negativity on my timeline. I'd get very annoyed as well. But nonetheless, I think that will wrap it up for the first official podcast, the multi archives. I hope you guys enjoyed. It will be going on YouTube soon today. I will make a Discord for the podcast to get questions from all of y'all. I appreciate everybody that watched. I hope you guys enjoyed. And until next time, peace out, chat.